Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology turned podcast. Everyone, welcome into the program. Today on the show, we have computer and technology news. We have a ton of different articles and just a little bit of something for everyone. It should be a nice condensed show today. It's going to be a good one. Everyone, computeramerica.com. That's where you'll find everything, past shows, future shows, everything you need to know. You can find it right there at computeramerica.com. Also, wherever podcasts are heard, simply search our name and we should pop right up. Give us a like, give us a follow. Best way to keep up to date with what it is that we are doing. And hey, by and large, thank you for just tuning in. Of course, if you want to watch the live video stream, we're doing that multiple hours a day now, twitch.tv/Computer America as well. That should be it for the morning announcements. Why don't we go ahead and get started with computer and technology news brought to you by Computer America. Okay, so for our first story that we're going to do, let's do, why don't we go ahead and do, mouse movers. So, technology giveth and technology taketh away. One of the things that I guess a lot of people were really hoping for was this idea that, you could go to, if you work from home, you can go to the bathroom in peace because, hey, no big deal. But, hey, they have reporting software that almost every remote worker has to deal with that shows activity time. If you are, if you step away from your computer, if you step away for more than 5 minutes, they know that. And if you go to the bathroom too often, particularly heinous supervisors will ask you where you are and why you're not working. And then, of course, they can use those metrics and kind of determine that, hey, this person is not being as productive as they should, which, it really feels invasive. And even if you are not goofing off or just doing anything, but, you're just not moving your mouse or touching your keyboard for 5 minutes, because, hey, you work from home, there are distractions that can pull you away from your desk for 5 minutes at a time. You don't want to, really have to answer to your boss why you have so many away, kind of sessions. Well, looks like workers are turning to a new kind of solution that I've never heard of before. Now, don't get me wrong. I have seen programs like auto clickers that I'm very familiar with. But this is a hardware and, I guess in some ways, a software solution to actually show hardware and software to jiggle your mouse. And what that means, let's check this out. Saying that obviously, Leia didn't expect her TikTok video about a work from home hack to go viral. She started using a mouse mover, a small device placed under her computer mouse to keep the cursor active. And after her job had a business lead in advertising transitioned to remote work at the start of the pandemic, her company-issued computer set her status to away whenever she stopped moving her cursor or got up from her desk for more than a few seconds. And with 3 kids at home who need help doing remote classes during schoolwork and lockdown, that little away signal was driving her nuts. Saying, quote, working remotely, your colleagues can't physically see when you get up to go to the bathroom or grab lunch, or even take 30 minutes to reset on the couch. The last thing I wanted during those moments was to be paranoid that people thought I wasn't working, especially since I felt that I was working more than ever, which, by and large, a lot of studies have been showing that even though people move and get away from their desk, and home does, as I said before, have a lot of those distractions, they are more productive at work because, let's face it, there's no commute, there's a lot less stress, they get to work on their own schedule. There's a lot of benefits, but trying to minimize the negatives really has a huge impact on people's mental health. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this, saying that at the beginning of the pandemic, obviously, no one really wants to spend it, obviously, chained at a desk. Wants to spend their time chained to a desk. Out of that, we got the Great Resignation, with people leaving their jobs in record numbers, and a new word for micromanagers of remote workers, saying bossware. So not spyware, but bossware. They say that, or I should say, bossware is spyware from your boss. So there you go. Some of the companies make employees use keyboard or mouse tracking software to ensure that they're working every moment they're on the clock, even if they're at home. And don't get me wrong, employees should be as productive as they can at work. But we're human, and no one short of a meth-addicted, ADHD medication-riddled mind can sit and be tuned in, dialed in for 8 hours straight. That's just not possible. Humans need to be distracted, makes them feel better, even just those little moments to get away and just kind of decompress, unwind throughout the workday, make you all the more productive. But hey, they're paying you, they're paying you for every single minute, so they feel you need to be there every single minute, which makes no sense. Even when you're in an office, that is not the case. There's a lot of small talk. There's a lot of going to go get water and taking a walk. But being distracted at home is somehow much worse than being distracted in an office building. So they mentioned that the Electronic Frontier Foundation, EFF, denounced bossware as being invasive, unnecessary, and unethical, and that the Center for Democracy and Technology called it out as being actively detrimental to employees' health, demanding that OSHA update its policies on worker safety to include at-home workers. Because, of course, OSHA has many rules about, how often you take breaks and how, when you take a lunch, all that kind of thing. But I guess for remote workers, that is a lot more lax. Now, they said that recently more remote workers have been hacking together DIY mouse movers. And, the article mentions some here that are out of like Lego bricks, for instance, which if you're watching the video portion, we can see that here, obviously from Reddit a couple of days ago. And yeah, it's a DIY Lego mouse mover. They're saying that, or as brutal as a brick on a spacebar, as their own recent revolts against bossware. But online retailers like Amazon are also full of plug-and-play mouse movers, and this is something I had never seen before. And, they show a couple of graphs and charts here, you can see there, such as mouse mover sales. Yeah, well, by and large, I don't know what the y-axis is, but the x-axis shows, yeah, they're on the rise. Mouse movers are on the rise. And in some cases, looks like tripling. I don't know. Now, they told customers are from a wide variety of industries, teachers, lawyers, accountants, students, and more. Most of them are buying mouse movers for one of two reasons: to keep screens from falling asleep when they're reading documents or monitoring network systems, and to get around archaic workplace policies about productivity as directly relational to how active your keyboard and mouse are, which, that is completely fair. And they even have a screenshot here of multiple products from Amazon, these ranging anywhere from, $12 all the way up to $20, $30, $40. Now, they said that the issue of rewarding presence versus productivity has always been around, but the forced virtualization of the workplace with the pandemic has made it even worse. So there you go. They even have, you don't need to buy a gadget in some cases to fake a moving mouse. Free downloads of mouse mimicking software abound online. Although if you're working from a company that's watching your cursor so closely that you need one of these things, you probably won't have administrative privileges to install new software. On YouTube, mouse mover videos have hundreds of thousands of views. And the movement of the lines in the video should make optical mouse cursors move. I gotta say, personally, I tried this and it did not work for me. So maybe my mouse is just a little too sensitive, or not sensitive enough. But there you go. So the article goes into a bit of kind of personal anecdote kind of thing, but it wraps up with saying that the pandemic has proved to be a catalyst to saying no to the 9-to-5 schedule. The tables have turned in favor of the worker. They are in power today. They value work flexibility. They are ambitious. They value work-life balance and are not afraid of saying no to employers who don't share those values. So, yeah, that's obviously some people are turning it into the next great revolution. I thought it was interesting that they had hardware solutions for mouse movers and mouse jigglers. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that people would be very keen on creating solutions to being ever present at your computer. And honestly, it gives, that's something that we can really kind of measure. Does somehow being present 100% of the time make you more productive? And I think by and large, even if you didn't have a hardware solution to do that for you, the answer was obviously going to be no. That was just going to make you a weird, neurotic person. But hey, now more and more people will be seeing a 100% presence rate, and I hope that companies really enjoy that statistic there that is obviously doctored. Happens all the time. And yeah, there's really no way of getting around it. Okay, let's see. So there's that story. We have a couple of long stories. This one's actually rather short, though. And I never put the two together. So obviously, running a website, you quickly learn what Alexa Internet Ranking is. And it's a site that registers traffic. It ranks you. It's tries to analyze exactly how much traffic you're getting. Advertisers use it all the time. It's just another number that goes into the whole calculation of how valuable a service is. And I never put it together, because it's been around for 25 plus years that the Alexa Internet Ranking was actually started by Amazon. It's really impressive. You consider Amazon, the rise of Amazon being in the early mid 2000s, late 2000s. Well, they started this whole thing, saying that it was established in 1996 and became famous for analyzing web traffic, which, it was one of the best, if not the go-to source. Saying that the service also offered paid subscription for those who want detailed SEO analytics and insights. Now, Amazon has announced that it is retiring Alexa.com on May 1st, 2022, just a month after it celebrates its 26th anniversary. And yeah, so they have a quote here saying that 25 years ago, we founded Alexa Internet. After 2 decades of helping you find, reach, and convert your digital audience, we've made the difficult decision to retire Alexa.com on May 1st, 2022. Thank you for making us your go-to resource for content research, competitive analysis, keyword search, and so much more. While Amazon didn't explicitly say why it's shutting down the service, they have obviously Alexa internet traffic has been on the decline over the past decade based on data from SEMrush. Saying that it's also been a while since anybody's been concerned about their Alexa ranking, so Amazon may have decided it's time to bid it farewell. The e-commerce giant has already stopped accepting new subscriptions for Alexa's paid tier, but current subscribers will have their account until the very end. So I guess the bigger part of this was that I had no idea that this was owned by Amazon. But now, obviously, it makes a lot of sense. And it was a huge resource. Not, like they said, not so much now, but it definitely used to be. So, okay, there's that story. This one, a little update as well, happened earlier today. Italy, if you didn't know, they kind of sort of maybe did a thing where they, speaking of Amazon, they actually sued them for a little over $1 billion. which is a lot. Not the most that we've ever seen a country try to take to task Amazon, but hey, it's not nothing. So why did they do it? Well, they did it for its absolute dominance over Italian brokerage service market, saying, quote, which has allowed it to promote its own logistics services called Fulfillment by Amazon, the authorities wrote in a press release. According to the, I'm assuming the Attorney General, companies must use Amazon's Fulfill by Amazon service if they want access to key benefits like Prime Label, which in turn allows them to participate in Black Friday sales and other key events. And Amazon has thus prevented third-party sellers from associating the Prime Label with offers not managed by Fulfilled by Amazon. The authorities said access to those functions are crucial for seller success. It also noted that third-party sellers using FBA are not subject to the same stringent performance requirements as non-FBA sellers. As such, they are less likely to be suspended from the platform if they fail to meet certain goals. Finally, it noted the sellers using Amazon's logistics services are discouraged from offering their products on other online platforms, or at least the same extent that they do Amazon. Because obviously, if you promote your products on platforms that are not Amazon and it starts getting some traction and people go maybe directly to your website or any other way that it's not fulfilled by Amazon, you won't meet your metrics and Amazon will either demonetize you, kick you off your platform, or not be able to use them as a shipping service, which is a really big deal. So all that together kind of highlights how important it is for sellers to have a really strong relationship with Amazon. They need it. They have to have it. And yeah, that's dominance. That is the definition of dominance. So they mentioned that. So Amazon, an Amazon spokesperson said that the company strongly disagreed with the decision and will appeal, as they always do. It also noted that the non-FBA sellers can use seller fulfilled Prime service, which gives them access to Prime benefits without having to use Amazon's logistic services. Saying, quote, we strongly disagree with the decision of the Italian Competitive Authority, and we will appeal. The proposed fine and remedies are unjustified and disproportionate. More than half of all annual sales on Amazon in Italy come from small, medium businesses, and their success is at the heart of our business model. Small and medium-sized businesses have multiple channels to sell their products, both online and offline. Amazon is just one of those options. We constantly invest in the support of growth of 18,000 Italian small and medium businesses that sell on Amazon, and we provide multiple tools to our sellers, including those who manage shipments themselves. Essentially, Amazon can say they invest in these small, medium businesses. Obviously, when they use their platform, and every one of those businesses has to invest in Amazon themselves. But to say that, you don't have to use Amazon, you can use yourself. You go down to the store and you ship off all of your packages. To say that a mom and pop operation can compete with the marketplace and, of course, the shipping of next day delivery, same day delivery, and more, on top of course, running the business and everything else that entails. Let's just take random, sock company. Well, you have to source your socks, package your socks, advertise your socks, sell your socks, and then you have to take on shipping and more. It's just not possible. It's just really not possible to compete with Amazon on this one. And of course, all of the benefits that, Fulfilled by Amazon, all the benefits that include, there's just no way you're just not going to use it. So last month, Amazon and Apple were fined $228 million in Italy for unfairly restricting Beat sales by limiting them to select retailers. The EU also handed Amazon an $888 million fine for violating the GDPR data privacy laws. Let's see. So other tech giants are also under scrutiny in the EU. Notably, the EU recently opened an antitrust investigation into Apple's App Store rules, particularly over commissions related to in-app purchases. So there you go. EU is definitely taking tech companies to task much better than America and really a lot of other countries. I don't know what it is that really, maybe it's the borscht, maybe it's whatever they eat over in Europe. They're much more likely to hold companies accountable for their market dominance, and what they enjoy here in America does not seem to be going as well over there. And one of the reasons why these fines are so large, they even say that it actually, kind of makes me laugh a little bit when Amazon says the fines and remedies are unjustified and disproportionate. That's why these fines are so large. Here in America, they would get hit with a $10 million antitrust, they'd pay it, they go on their way, and they say we do better later, whatever, doesn't matter. In the EU, a lot of the fines are actually proportionate to the amount of sales and revenue that you do as a company. That's why these fines are $1 billion, $888 million, $2, $3, $4 billion. There was a $5 billion fine from, I think it was Google, for its role in data protection, kind of thing. It's proportional to how much revenue that company did over the year. So when they say disproportionate, and 1.3 billion sounds like a lot, there's a difference between charging someone $10 million and charging someone 3% of their total revenue for the previous year. One actually has an impact. The other just sounds like a lot. So that's why it's so much. They actually base fines on a percentage of what the company is worth, and that's why these fines are so large. Any other company, if some other company was worth, $1 million, yeah, their fine would be, likely in the couple of $1,000s range. But Amazon does not get that same luxury because of how much money they make. So there you go. I always like that though. You also hear that about like speeding tickets. Whenever people get, $50,000 speeding tickets, it's because, well, their net worth, they're worth more, and they, a $100 speeding ticket really is not going to make them stop speeding. But a 0.01% of their net worth speeding ticket, or a 1% of their net worth speeding ticket, that'll have an impact. That will definitely have an impact. So, with that being said, we have a couple of more stories, like 3 more here. Actually, we're going to skip that one. How about this? And let's talk about Instagram. Instagram took to the Hill, Capitol Hill, that is, and they had to talk Instagram for teenagers. It did not go well for the gentleman who had to go and sit in front of Congress and answer all of their questions. He tried, but let's face it, he had his talking points, and he really did not have a lot of good answers for what the senators were asking him. So during the hearing, they had, So Instagram's top executive spent more than 2 hours being grilled by the Senate about Instagram's safety policies and its impact on teens' mental health. Unfortunately for Mauseri, members of the Subcommittee on Consumer Protection, Product Safety, and Data Security came to the hearing armed with fresh anecdotes from their own finstas. And I can only assume that finsta means fake Instagram. There you go. So during the hearing, Mosier's first time appearing in Congress, multiple senators revealed that they and their staff had created fresh Instagram accounts. So maybe Finsta is fresh. Disguised as teenagers, they all said that the app had steered them toward content that was inappropriate for young users, including anorexia coaches and other content related to self-harm. The staff of one lawmaker managed to uncover a significant bug in one of the Instagram's teen safety features. They said that the bug, where they created a 15-year-old girl on Instagram, or at least the account of a 15-year-old girl, and the account was set to public by default, not private, which they always said anyone under 16 would be defaulted to private. They said that while Instagram is touting all these safety features, they aren't even making sure that the safety features are in effect for young people. And all he could say was, we will correct that quickly. So, yeah, there you go. So they said that while Instagram is touting, so all that stuff, they mentioned that they're not the only senator who came to the hearing prepared with questions about their staff-created fresh Instagram accounts. They had the Connecticut senator said that his staff had created a new account posing as a 13-year-old just days before. He said that a few accounts promoting eating disorders that within an hour, he said that after following, quote, a few accounts promoting eating disorders, end quote, that within an hour, all of our recommendations promoted pro-anorexia and eating disorder content. He later added that a search for self-harm content turned up results so graphic he didn't feel like he could describe them. Which, this once again hits back at the Section 230. They're allowed to host it, and don't get me wrong, if you sat a Facebook executive down and you pointed them to an account that promoted anorexia, they would say, that's not allowed on our site. We're going to take that down. And they would take that down. But they're not really that aggressive in finding every little bit of it. And if they were, then it's a game of cat and mouse where those who are spreading that information and creating those accounts and trying to get followers and monetize this whole thing, they're going to find ways around it. And it's a never-ending battle that, honestly, you have one side that's very aggressive, wanting to keep this up, keep their followers, their subscribers, keep these accounts going, and then the other side, which is very blasé, because also, on top of it, Instagram makes money whenever people use their platform, stay engaged users, see more of their ads, click and like and share and engage. One side is, again, very for it, and the other side is, well, that's not good, but they also enjoy the benefits of an engaged user. So they mentioned that, so this time Blumenthal pressed Mosseri on whether he would commit to ending work on Instagram Kids entirely, and Mosseri did not, and whether he would make more data about the algorithms available to researchers outside the company. Saying, quote, I can commit to you today that we will provide meaningful access to data so third-party researchers can design their own studies and make their own conclusion about the effects of well-being on young people. He later added that Instagram is working on giving users the option for a chronological feed, which has already happened. That part that we kind of glossed over there was Instagram Kids, Instagram for kids ages 10 to 12 is kind of what they're going for. I've heard reports of 8 to 12 in particular, that he said that no, we will not stop working on it. And all he said was, we promise that when we release something like this, kids will have to have express parental consent. Honestly, sounds a lot like the porn industry, where they say things like, oh, hey, are you 18? Click this button. And I don't know how many people click no and navigate away to, honestly, I have no idea what happens when you press no. That is, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of pornography. But getting parental consent seems such like a small barrier. And of course, parents aren't going to know, like, oh, would you like to give your kids crack cocaine for kids? It says, crack cocaine for kids. This should be fine for my kid, right? I'm going to go ahead and give this to my kid. How educated are parents really going to be about the effects and all of the, possible influences that Instagram for kids could have on them? Trust me, not everyone's going to have all that information, and by and large, hey, if it's a public safety concern, which it's looking more and more like it is a public safety concern, why are we relying on every parent being a doctor? And why are we not legislating this like the public health crisis that it's it's becoming, if not is already. So, with that being said, they said that Utah Senator Mike Lee also shared his experience creating the Instagram account for a fictitious 13-year-old girl. He described how the recommendations on the account changed after following just one account. Saying, quote, "The Explore page yielded fairly benign results at first. We followed the first account that was recommended by Instagram, which happened to be a very famous female celebrity. After following that account, we went back to the Explore page and the content quickly changed." Saying, quote, "We did follow Instagram top recommendation account for the 13-year-old girl case. Cause our Explore page caused our Explore page to go from showing really innocuous things like hairstyling videos to content that promotes body dysmorphia, sexualization of women, and content otherwise unsuitable for a 13-year-old girl." So he replied to that, according to the company, saying that content promoting eating disorders accounts for roughly 5 out of every 10,000 things viewed. He didn't buy it, saying it went dark fast. He said it was not 5 in 1,000 or 5 in 10,000. It was rampant. And don't get me wrong, that's a little of a biased thing. And although at the same time, not biased at all, they liked the first page that was recommended to them by Instagram. That should be totally fair game. Instagram immediately found a new account, recommended them first thing, they liked it, and suddenly it's covered in sexualized topics. It's that's not right. It's not 5 in every, and maybe it is 5 in every 100,000 when you're looking at the entire feed, but yeah, when it's heavily skewed by just one like page, that content is going to quickly turn from 1 or 5 in 100,000 or something like that. It's going to be hugely influential on what is served to you as a person. Now, a fully fleshed out profile with multiple likes, multiple interests. You share, you share your location, your music, your likes and dislikes, what kind of animals you like, your favorite food, so on and so forth. You share your entire life with social media. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more well-rounded. If you have friends and whatever they like, you're going to get similar things that they've already viewed. Yeah, it's going to be a bit more well-rounded. But by and large, yeah, just one like is going to have a wildly dramatic effect, and it's going to serve a lot of that same kind of content, which is not, that's not good on Instagram. Shame on them for that one. So, they mentioned that so it also indicated just how seriously lawmakers are taking the issue of teen safety in social media. While previous hearings with big tech executives had veered wildly off topic, senators stayed relatively focused on the issue. And it was clear that there was bipartisan agreement on the need for Instagram to disclose more information about its platform to the public and to researchers. They mentioned that the kinds of baby steps that you've suggested so far, very respectfully, are underwhelming. I think you will sense on this committee pretty strong determination to do something well beyond what you've indicated you have in mind. That's the reason that I think self-policing based on trust is no longer a viable solution. When it comes to social media in particular, that should be the number one. Like I'm so frustrated that whenever there's an issue at hand that involves Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, whatever, they pull their top executive, sit them down at the table and say, what works for you? And honestly, that's not working for consumers anymore. That's not working for the people that have to use these products day in and day out. It helps them retain their business model, but at what cost? So overall, from what I saw of that hearing, it was very, I'm sure sitting in front of Congress, it's not an easy experience, and honestly one that I hope that I never have to do myself. But he went in there and he had to just kind of give lukewarm answers to some very important topics, and I expect nothing less from an executive of one of these companies. So, non-committal, but promising the world and doing very, very little. I'm not surprised at all. So let's see. There's that one. We have two more stories here. This one should be pretty quick. Activision Blizzard, the quote-unquote scandal, I guess, continues. Well, not quote-unquote scandal. It's an actual scandal. Check this one out. Activision Blizzard employees create strike fund while taking steps toward unionization. And I like the story because it, explicitly says, or, kind of shows the need that, hey, these companies should be unionizing. They really should be. They are, they're as skilled as any movie maker, any musician, any stagehand, any artist. They deserve the right to collectively bargain and really work for their own rights, because that's one of the big issues that these these high-paying tech jobs have really had, is that they're seen as replaceable. There's no there's really no punishment for these companies to not force them out of their job and not get them to just leave. They said that a GoFundMe has been created to support employees participating in the latest work stoppage at Activision Blizzard. This latest walkout comes after the company announced a round of layoffs in the QA department of one of its subsidiaries right before the holiday season. Though initially contained to the Wisconsin-based studio, the walkout spread to the QA departments in Texas and Minnesota as well. And so according to a report by the Washington Post, unionization efforts are ramping up behind these walkouts, with workers being asked to sign union authorization cards. Activision employee Blizzard's the advocacy group has worked with the CWA since the news of rampant sexual assault, harassment, discrimination, and abuse at the company broke this summer. So, yeah, it's and where's that GoFundMe at now? It's at about $130,000, of course, being created just a couple of hours ago. Really impressive. And once again, being able to stand up to such a large company, and in so many ways a venerated company. People spend their entire lives dreaming of their chance to work for Amazon, and they have to deal with all this crap and then don't have the security to know that they can speak out and not be retaliated against. A lot of stuff's happening at Blizzard, and as a long-time Blizzard fan, Blizzard games are some of my favorite games in the world, bar none. And to see all the change that's happening there, could not be happier. If there was truly this toxic workplace that happened and is rampant and is just, so hard to root out of the company, then big changes like this need to happen. So there you go. Okay, I think that's about it for today. I had another story about encrypted phone company that was backdoored by the FBI called Anom. We've talked about it a bit on the show before, and they're saying that will lead to years of arrest by the AFP, which I believe is the Australian crime division, like the FBI. They will be using this as so globally, nearly 1,000 people were arrested. They have 700 warrants. 300 people have been charged in Australia, and there's even more to come. This is going to be a worldwide thing. So I always thought that was curious, and how that whole thing went down. Honestly, it was pretty cool. They had these third-party phones that ran their own operating software, and it had, regular apps. If anyone kind of looked at it through the side of their eye, it'd be like whatever, just a regular smartphone. And then if you went into the calculator app and put in a secret code into the calculator app, it would then pull up the entirety of the software that let people communicate entirely anonymously. And, everything was supposed to be encrypted, and everything was supposed to be safe. But of course, the FBI made contacts and were able to break that communication and insert themselves into those communications, leading to, as I said before, hundreds and hundreds of arrests. So This article goes into a bit more detail about that. We're not going to cover that, but hey, why not? We'll throw it in the show notes over at computeramerica.com if you'd like to check that out more. Of course, the nice people over at Vice did great reporting on that, and you can definitely check that out. But ladies and gentlemen, that's about it for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning into the program. And hey, be sure to check out our website, computeramerica.com, for more. It was pretty, I swear, one of these days, I'm going to have a podcast that is under 30 minutes. Hasn't happened yet, but hey, we tried our best. Everyone, keep note with what we're doing over at computeramerica.com. Early in January, we're going to have CES 2022. It's going to be a lot of interviews, a lot of fun. We're getting a ton of interviews together for the month of December and January. Check it out there. Until next time, have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.